Uncensored, only rip it absurd. 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 Uncensored, only rip it absurd.
What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show somewhere. Today we're going to be talking about the obvious event, the world event that is happening all around us. We're going to go into the details of what we were talking about earlier. Also, Jay Inslee has now officially said that no large gatherings can meet over 250 people. That includes sporting events. This is something we've talked about for weeks. In fact, even LeBron James said he would not play if there were no fans. So we'll be right back after this.
Uncensored, only rip it absurd. 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 Uncensored.
All right, obviously there's a lot of serious stuff. If you've never been here before, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we're going to be talking about obvious things that are all around us and spreading throughout the country and the world. Now, whether you believe what is going on is something to be worried about or not, the reality is that the country is starting to shut down different events. They are starting to control the spread. Now, again, you can go to our website, marfooglenews.com, to follow along. In fact, I'll just show you real quick. We have two channels. Our main channel, Marfoogle News, at 152,000 subscribers, and then our backup channel, 108,000 subscribers, Marfoogle TV. Now, when you go to our website, I'll just show you real quick. It's very easy to navigate. It goes by thumbnail, so you will look for this thumbnail, and then you will actually click on It Has Begun, and you'll actually be able to get all of the articles that we have here today. Not only that, you'll be able to follow along on a second device. You can go back and check our work. Of course, we believe journalism should be backed up by something, and of course, we are, almost alone in that department in my niche. So, again, you can go and see all of the articles that we're going to show. Any kind of, oh, that's funny, access denied. One of them got taken down. And then, no surprise there. And then, of course, all of the tweets, anything that we end up sharing here will end up being on our website. That's, again, www.marfooglenews.com. You can also support our channel in different ways. Those are all on the right side of the scroller. So once you get there, make sure to sign up for Alerts Discord. We have 13,000 plus people that are in state groups in our Discord. So make sure to check that out. Details later. First off, I want to bring in Dex and make sure you guys know this is a live call-in show. The number is 224400MARF. It will be scrolling down on the black line below. And of course, in fact, it's going to be coming right about there. Call now and boom. And if you don't have a touchtone phone with letters on it, it is, again, 224400MARF. 6273 is those numbers. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who helps the show, including our wonderful mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. All right, now, to get on with it, I just want to bring in Dex real quick to get a sound check. Dex, are you there, and can we hear you?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So, obviously, a lot has changed just in the last couple hours, even. We just went on to talk about Jay Inslee's announcement, and now, all of a sudden, we've got some more news. Before that, there was the declaration that this is a true pandemic. Which obviously people said it should have been declared, weeks ago. But now there's even more stuff that's happening as far as some of the states have now announced. And now you just found out that another school district closed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Here in the Atlanta metro area, North Atlanta we had Fulton County, which is the really large county that encompasses Atlanta. They had an incident a couple of days ago and they closed. And now today they just announced that Cobb County, which is the other large, there's a couple of big school systems here. That's Cobb County is one of the biggest ones. Actually, I went to Cobb County when I was a kid. That school system is now closed for at least 2 weeks, announced today.
And now we just found out locally here that sorry about that. We found out locally here that the Seattle school district is now closing for at least 2 weeks. Before that, it was North Shore. In fact, North Shore superintendent took an extremely progressive move, even though a lot of people thought she was crazy when she did it. She actually did this early. She closed down the entire system, and they actually did great. They ended up delivering a laptop to my sister, to my nephew, who's in that school district, and they even offered at-home school lunches, and if you couldn't pick them up, they would actually get them to you for low-income students. So I thought that they did it really well. Now Seattle's doing it, and of course, that was why I think that a lot of the other ones were waiting. The school district my kids were in, of course, for whatever reason, are dragging their feet. I guess you have to be a parent to kind of understand like how we worry and things like this. But the one thing they did do is they said if you pull your kid out over concerns about this, then they will not be, they'll be excused. It will be marked absent, but it will again be excused. So that was kind of like leaving it up to us to do that. I feel in the next 3 days, all of the school districts here will close. We are now ahead of the country. We were the first infected state, and now they say that the rest of the country is 2 to 3 weeks behind us, which means wherever you are, regardless of what you think this is, if it's real, fake, a fairy tale, it's still going to affect you. It's going to change your daily life. In fact, they're saying that this is going to change life as you know it in the United States. So again, I don't think they're going to say that and 3 days later go, oh, we fixed it, it's all good, it's all gone. It's not going to happen. Now they are canceling. I mean, think about the millions of dollars they are going to lose by canceling these events. The home opening game, Mariners, is not going to have a single fan inside the stadium. They are going to play without or might not even play. We don't know. We actually told you LeBron James 2 weeks ago said he wouldn't play if there wasn't fans. He says, I do this for the fans, and if there's no fans, I'm not playing. I don't care if they give me fines. I don't care what they do. And it's almost like 2 weeks ago, he knew this was going to happen. Like he got a heads up from one of his, high-paid buddies. So we talked about it 2 weeks ago. In fact, we talked about it back in February. I want to say the 23rd to 24th, we talked about that as well. So as far as this goes, now it is officially a pandemic. What do we do about it? Do we panic? Do we sell our house? No. In fact, this stream is not there to fear monger or anything else. This is to tell you the reality. Again, everything we are going to say here today is the reality of what's happening, not of what could be. It is what is actually happening. I'm going to try to pop into chat as much as I can. I obviously know that we have a different kind of content here for this platform. When it goes over to YouTube, it's a little bit different. People understand kind of how the system works over there. But again, I don't even have notifications set up. So if you do something here and I don't get to it, I'm sorry. But I will make sure to be checking as much as possible. As far as the WHO declares it says, and let me pop this up real quick. Thank you, Pizza Patty. Nige's view on things, Claudia HM, Mike 1968, and then, of course, Pizza. Hey, Adam. Hey, Foogle fam, to-year listener. Thanks. Hey, I appreciate you guys. I seriously do, especially during these crazy times. It says the WHO declared CV a global pandemic on Wednesday as the new CV, which was unknown to the world of health officials just 3 months ago, has rapidly spread to more than 121,000 people from Asia to Europe to the Middle East and now parts of the United States. It says in the past 2 weeks, the number of cases outside of China has increased 13-fold, and the number of affected countries has tripled. WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, I never say that right, told reporters on a conference call, quote, in the days and weeks ahead, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries to climb even higher. Now, This is, again, just to tell you the reality of what these people are saying. I want to go off base real quick. During our last CV broadcast, somebody came in and said that something happened and they dropped booms over on Iran or Iraq, and we didn't know if that was false or true. It does appear that there was something that happened. This was breaking news just a few hours ago. 2 Americans, 1 Brit perished after 15 rockets hit base in Iraq housing U.S. troops, military says. So we're looking at this. It says 2 Americans and 1 Brit were killed as more than 15 Katyusha rockets hit a base housing U.S. troops Wednesday. That is, of course, today. And it says the U.S. military said in a statement, quote, "The coalition at CTJ-4 confirms that more than 15 small rockets impacted Iraq's Camp Taji base hosting coalition troops." So, will this spark anything? We don't know yet. Obviously, we're going to be following it as close as possible. Now we have, of course, dramatic moment. U.S. fighters intercept Russian jets off of Alaska. U.S. Canadian jet fighters on Monday intercepted a pair of Russian military aircraft that came as close as 50 nautical miles to the Alaskan coast. It says that the U.S. and Canadian air crews were assigned to the North American Aerospace Defense Command, better known as NORAD. They flew F-22s, CF-18s as they escorted the Russian Tu-142 maritime reconnaissance aircraft for about 4 hours through a region known as the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone. I think that's AADIZ. And it says the Russians did not stray into U.S. or Canadian airspace during their journey, NORAD officials said. This is one thing that we hear all the time. We hear that they come in with their surveillance planes and then we chase them out. It's kind of like a, it's kind of like a dog, or a chihuahua coming up to the fence and a big pit bull comes over and scares them off. And I'm not saying that to say anything bad. They're both pit bulls, but essentially they always try to push the limits, but yet we do too. In fact, they have chased us off many times. In fact, we've covered many times where we're actually the aggressor, but the news actually kind of shows us as it was an accident. It's always an accident when it's us, and it's always an aggressive move when it's them. They both do it. Everybody does it. In fact, China does it. We've had the same thing happen with China. So this is nothing I get worried about. Of course, some, obviously take this, run with it, and say that it's trying to spark a conflict. That's not the case in this one. Not in my opinion. I've covered this so many times, it's not even funny. If you have not joined our Discord, here's the details. So pay attention. You can find your local state group. Right now, we have discontinued the in-person meetings, but that doesn't mean they will not restart. We have meetings as big as 100 people that meet in person and actually plan events and all sorts of things. In all 50 states, we have these groups, and even groups outside of the country. These are all groups that essentially have one thing in common. We're all open-minded, and we don't think you're crazy. In fact, if you are looking up at the sky and saying, what the heck is wrong with that? That wasn't a cloud 10 minutes ago. Why is it a cloud now? Then you're not as much crazy in so much as that you ask questions and you don't just believe what is said to you. So again, this is the point of the Discord. It is to meet people that are like-minded. If you disagree with people, our whole vibe is that you say, okay, you believe that, I believe this. Let's talk about it. That might sound cliche, but that's seriously where we need to go. We're very divided as a country. We're very divided down to the very lowest levels. You've got truthers fighting with truthers. It's absolutely dumb. Now we've got the Creators Corner again. Channels with 100 plus subs and 20 plus vids can get right in there. If you don't have that, we can help you, or you can reach out to another creator in our group. We have almost now 300 creators in this group, and they're all, most of these, we've actually helped 275 channels to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube or more, which means they can apply for monetization as long as they have their hours. Exclusive military channel for former and current military. Make sure if you go in there with false valor, you will be kicked out of every system we have. It's only happened twice, but I just have to warn. Go to marfooglenews.com, sign up for Marfoogle Alerts. It's up at the top. It's very easy to find. Again, that is marfooglenews.com. Then you have the CV. Up to 70% of Germany could be infected, or at least that's what they say. It says German Chancellor Angela Merkel has warned that up to 70% of the country's population, some 58 million people, could contract the CV. Mrs. Merkel made the stark prediction at a news conference on Wednesday alongside Health Minister Jens Spahn. Is that really his name? Jens Spahn. She said that there was no known cure. The focus would fall on slowing the spread of the virus. It's about winning time, she explained. Her remarks came as Italy entered the second day of a national lockdown. Now, from when, this, as far as this goes, this looks like, it just feels like the entire world is working together to not tell us the whole truth about this. And I kind of understand. They tell us the entire truth. They tell us the real numbers. They include all the people that just happen to not be included. And then all of a sudden you've got riots, you've got panic, you've got people leaving, bugging out. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And it's not even that bad as far as, people say they're fear-mongering and they're getting people into hysteria. This is nothing to what they could do if they actually said some of the things that I've heard. At least, and that's confirmed information. Her remarks came as Italy entered its second day of national lockdown, and it says Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte announced that the closure of schools, gyms, museums, nightclubs, and other venues across the country, which on Wednesday passed 10,000 confirmed infections. So think about the money that is going into this, the fact that all of these things will be closed, not taking in a single dollar. This is going to crash the entire world's economy, and that's not fear-mongering. That's a fact. If this continues, how in the heck are we going to make up for all of this money not spent? It is absolutely insane. This is the largest thing that's ever happened in our lifetime. 2020 is just like a weird number in the first place. It's like futuristic books back from the 60s said the year 2020. And I'm not even saying prediction. I'm saying the year 2020 is just such a weird number. And it's like now all of this stuff is going down. People have made comparisons to how many things we've had in the past on election years. This is not comparable in my opinion. If you have a different opinion, you can give me a call back at 224-400-MARF. As far as the reality, they've never done stuff like this. They've never closed this many places. They've never locked down entire countries. Now we have seen China and Italy completely locked down. And now we are seeing my state a couple days prior to lockdown. We have National Guard in New York helping sanitize. I guess they're grabbing their mops. What do you think? Give me a call. Again, 224-400-MARF. Lady Liberty Speaks. Thank you for coming in tonight. Carol Palmer, thank you for gifting a subscription. Nettie2550, thank you. Guy84, Amin, Mike1968, Paranormal White Noise. It was nice being on the panel with you. Stormy7572, thank you. JR Pale Horse, thank you for gifting a subscription. And Camp Kill Yourself, thank you for coming in. PHX Breeze and a bunch of you. Stormy7572, thank you. JR Pale Horse. Nigel's on the View, thank you guys. And then Guy84, thank you for being here. And PHX Breeze, thank you for gifting. All right, now it says Seattle Public Schools to close for 2 weeks in light of CV concerns. Seattle Public Schools, Seattle Public Schools will close for a minimum of 2 weeks starting tomorrow, according to an email sent to school administrators Wednesday. The email said that the decision was made after conferring with county and school officials. It instructs principals to treat the closure as if they are going on spring break and lists some guidance for going forward. We know that you do not have time to do everything, and we trust that you will do your best given the circumstances, the email said. The announcement comes after the district's early move to stay open in an effort to make sure children don't suddenly see a loss in services. But since then, on Thursday, Governor Jay Inslee hinted that schools should be making contingency closure plans in light of this restriction on gatherings over 250 in King, Pierce, and Snohomish County. That's where the majority of our population is. It says on Wednesday, 2 individual SPS schools had closed because of concerns of exposure at those particular schools. So it is definitely, it's heating up for sure here, and we're going to see more. If you guys would like to support us in a different way, EMP Shield is running a contest right now. But other than that, this is one of the few ways to actually protect yourself with military-grade equipment that can actually save your devices from getting fried in an actual EMP event. Now, of course, there's all 3 phases, E1, E2, and E3, that it protects. And, of course, it can work on your car, your house, your solar system. They have models for almost any kind of electrical device. You can't really put your entire house in a Faraday cage, so you might want to look into this. Now, the contest that's running, if you're saying I don't have the money to get 3 devices for all my stuff, you can win one. Marfooglenews.com/contest is how you get there. There's multiple ways to enter, including daily bonus entries. And of course, the winners, which are 3 of them, will each get 3 devices of their choice. So that means that they will get home protection, vehicle protection, and generator protection, or whatever combo that they please. Now, this is an amazing thing. That's a $1,000 value for each winner. These things are not only used by DoD, they're used by Homeland Security, and EMP Shield is officially on the DEMSO team protecting the Texas grid. Now, Georgia preparing park for isolating patients exposed to CV. Nobody likes when this is in their backyard, but of course it says that state officials are preparing Hard Labor Creek State Park in Morgan County for isolating and monitoring patients who may have been exposed to the disease caused by CV. Governor Brian Kemp announced on Monday. So what I see is that this is what happened to us 3-4 weeks ago. They're all behind. So now they're going to set up a little thing with 5 or 6 RVs like they did here, which I covered in person. Then they're going to shut that down and actually have to open up something. Then eventually they might have to get some sort of hotel, maybe buy a $4 million ghetto hotel and turn it into a CV hotel. I don't know, but it seems like these steps are going in the exact pattern that they've already gone in other countries. We talked to Megan's blog earlier. In fact, I was on a panel with her on Crazy K-Man's channel, and she is now out. She was lucky enough to have friends in the YouTube and DLive community like Green Bay Wacky and others that raise money like Cab 7. And they got her enough money to not only get a cab, a train, and then a plane out of China, but then they got her home. So now she is home, and it's like when she hears people, I can only imagine. She was in China in the 3rd most infected city. She saw all of this. She talked about how they were pulling people out of apartment buildings. She was actually on a live call with Green Bay Wacky and all them when they were pulling people out and lining them up against a wall in full hazmat suits. That's what happened there. That was 3 months ago. So she's already been all the way through this. Now she's in South Africa and they have 3 new cases. So imagine if she had to go through that twice. That's what I said. I was like, man, can you only imagine? But she said, I would rather be at home on lockdown than all the way there. That was just like a work thing for her. So I'm glad that we all prayed and something good happened out of it. State officials and preparing that is a big deal. Now, Georgia people are going to be tripping. It says located about 50 miles east of Atlanta. The park features a golf course, lakeside beach, and more than 24 miles of trails. Its ominous-sounding name is thought to have come from, quote, slaves who tilled summer fields or American Indians who found the creek difficult to cross. Of course, the name of it, again, is Hard Labor Creek Park in Morgan County.
Well, I can tell you this, Adam, as I live in Georgia and this is nowhere near me, it's way far away. I will say that probably for most people in the metropolitan Atlanta area where the majority of the population of the entire state lives, this is still pretty far out. And it's going to be a vast contrast to what you showed. You showed trailers on a corner lot with chain link fence around them with the school across the street, right? This is going to, and I know where this is generally speaking, and I've looked it up on a map. This is very heavily wooded, off into nowhere. There's not a lot of population around it. I mean, there are people out there, but
well, that's
it's
good.
nothing like being in the metro area at all. it's pretty far away.
Well, here they put it right in the middle of the city, and then it took about a week and a half before they said, okay, we're going to move it. Which, again, then they ended up moving it, and then they bought that $4 million hotel, which they just did a protest yesterday morning at 10:30 a.m., which I didn't go to that because I am actually, I'm getting a little bit, weirded out about some of the stuff that's going around here. Locals that were in chat, you guys know, we actually talked about it in chat last night. Locals that live here, they see what's going on. We're ahead of the country as far as in everything. Stormy7572, thank you again. Karen Wint Mom, thank you, says Marv. Trucker Dan, stay safe, USA forever, thank you. I appreciate that. Kelly2334, I appreciate you. Angela1609, proud grandma. John Wick and his pencil. Kelly2334 again, thank you. And then Stormy says, at Mrs. Marv, thanks. It is EKG telemetry. Lady GT476, thank you for gifting subscriptions. T-Truth, thank you for being here. And then JR Pale Horse, thank you for being awesome. SCTX, thank you for being here. PHX Breeze, you guys are like freaking sub monsters. Mini70, thank you again for being here. You actually have been one of my biggest supporters over here, so thank you. I appreciate you. And then, of course, thank you for gifting all the subs to people. Zambria, thank you for being here. Jen, 1971. Let's see. Mini70, again, you guys are crazy. Kelly2334, Trishelle's here for it. Sweet Rescue Nurse. Damon Draco, take nothing for granted. Appreciate your loved ones. So that's a very good point as far as what is going on right now. We all need to essentially have our contingency plans together. We need to make sure that we have, all of our stuff for staying in. What is funny, though, Dex, is they are actually talking about how this is going to result in a baby boom. All these people being at home will physically cause a baby boom. In fact, we've seen a baby boom from smaller events that had people home for 3 days. Imagine, 2-3 weeks. Isn't that weird? Like, that's like actually a result of this thing. In fact, nobody's really talking about some of the positives of this, which I almost thought about doing a whole show on just because, obviously we don't want to be all doom and gloom.
It's going to also cause other strains. You're going to see relationship changes. Imagine parents whose teenagers are with them 24/7 now, or traveling spouses that have spent a lot of time away because they're always on the go with work, and now they're stuck at home together for a long time. It will have lots of different changes.
Yeah, I think that we're going to notice over the next couple weeks that, obviously nobody's going to be able to avoid this, and that is my honest opinion. You can mark my words. In 2 weeks, I guarantee that the 30 states that already have them are going to have similar situations to what we are doing right now. So just understand, you might not have any compassion for the Washingtonians right now, but you may in a few weeks. It says Air Force restricts cadet travel, cancels boot camp graduations amid CV fears. I've got a funny one, by the way, coming up here of a cancellation, which, Dex, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it says the families of airmen who have completed boot camp will no longer be allowed to attend their graduation ceremonies. The U.S. Air Force announced Tuesday, adding yet another dramatic restriction to the growing list of measures the military has taken to contain the spread of the CV. The announcement came amid other news for the Air Service, including that cadets at the Air Force Academy would no longer be allowed to travel outside the U.S. to countries with heightened security risk for the spread of CV. So, yeah, we're seeing a ton of this kind of stuff. JDog308, thank you. Appreciate the Ninja Genie. That was awesome. Let's see here. March sadness. Now, I know a lot of people are actually sad about this. This is actually really messed up. Some of my friends, this is like religious for them to watch March Madness. But apparently it is going to be closed to the public. This is what I'm talking about. Think about the multi-million-dollar industry surrounding some of these things. It says that NCAA officials closed the U.S. National College basketball tournament to playing fans on Wednesday in an unprecedented move due to the CV outbreak. It says National Collegiate Athletic Association President Mark Emmert said that the move, made after consultations with public health officials, would allow only relatives and essential personnel at games. Wow. It says, quote, I have made the decision to conduct our upcoming championship events, including the Division I men's and women's basketball tournaments, with only essential staff and limited family attendance. This is freaking crazy, Dex. Honestly, the whole thing.
Absolutely. It's a great decision they're making. The only positive side on this is if you're a family member, you probably got really good seats because you've got the whole stadium, so it'll be probably courtside.
Well, obviously, we're going to see a ton of changes in the next week. This is one of them. Obviously, some of the biggest sporting events are going to have huge, huge changes done. And whether you think it's fake or real, your favorite game might just be televised and you won't be going.
What's the next televised we're going to see that's going to have no fans? That's what it's going to look really strange.
It's going to be, it's going to look super weird.
Something's coming up.
Seeing the empty stands and them doing these games, like, it will look like, spring training, so somebody we know, a family member, had an Arizona trip planned with going to spring training, and that is canceled, and it's because of who they work for. The entire thing just would not agree with it. I can't say much more because it would give up stuff, but they basically were debating, like, should we go? Now the decision is made for them. It is canceled, and it's a huge association that is actually canceling it. Read 55, no paper products and bags of beans, Missouri ML. And trust me, it's gonna. If you do still have stuff in your state, you can say all you want, like, oh, we don't feed into the fear here. Just wait until you get your first case. Montana, in fact, we talked about last night, still does not have a case. Death Crusade, keep up the good work, guys. Thank you. Curly Q 1971. Thanks, Adam and Dex. I appreciate that. And for all the people that are doing subscriptions, I can't even keep up. Thank you, guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Aussie Walkabout, thank you. If you need to bug out in Tennessee, my wife and I have land. Hey, we might. In fact, my cousin just contacted me and said that we need, if we need a space, they've got this crazy off-grid thing out there. We have a place, but I'm almost thinking, we're too close. It's just nuts. And then, again, some of the things that have been said about this thing, that it lasts in the air for 30 minutes and things like this, I don't know if any of that is true. But what I do know is I see the changes happening in front of me as far as what is going on. Now, if you'd like to support us in a different way, of course, you might be home for a while. So again, earthing is something that reduces inflammation. What it is a set of products that actually ground you. You plug it into the wall, it grounds you just like you do to an appliance. In fact, you can put the mat that I use underneath your sheets, go to sleep, you get 8 hours of grounding in instead of having to stand outside barefoot for 10 hours a day. In fact, they say the more that you do it, the better off you are. There's 25 medical studies that back this up. Clint Ober has been on the show. Muriel Hemingway, of course, Academy Award actress, winning actress that was in the Earthing movie. She came on for an interview as well. Amazing. It's got Amy Smart, Deepak Chopra, major ball players, all sorts of folks are in that movie. That was actually screened to us and only us before anyone else, before it even hit the red carpet and actually did their big debut. It decreases inflammation, but not only that, digestive and sleep. Those are the three big ones for me. And then again, we're electricity. Our nervous system, our brains, our hearts are electricity. So this is why it makes sense. If you don't understand it, go watch the Earthing movie. If you already understand it, go to marfooglenews.com/earthing, and a small portion of that will go to help our channel, and it will end up helping you. All right, and then we have CV conference canceled in New York because of CV. The conference for it was canceled because of it. Wow. It says a Big Apple conference about the CV has been canceled because of the CV. It says the Council of Foreign Relations was due to hold a roundtable titled Doing Business Under CV on Friday, but decided to cancel it amid fears that it could lead to a spread of the deadly bug that they were talking about. It says the non-profit think tank on U.S. foreign policy and international affairs on East 68th Street also has called off another in-person meeting in New York, Washington, D.C., and around the country from March 3rd to April 3rd, the news outlet reported. It says, quote, there are currently no upcoming events. Please check back soon for new events. Reads the statements on the CFR's website. If you want to read the rest of this article, you can go to marfooglenews.com and make sure to just scroll right down to it. And then, of course, we have T-Man fearing emergency declaration would contradict the CV message. Now, we've talked about this several times over the last month. A lot of his election was based on this huge turnout for his rallies. Now, his rallies are still going to go on. I guarantee you this guy's going to pound through it. He's going to say, it's a cold, whatever. I don't know what he's going to end up doing. But again, those rallies are not going to have the same numbers. So therefore, that's what birthed that theory that this, was some sort of opt to try to take him down or try to screw up his chances. I think it will affect him as far as not having the rallies he had before. Of course, that was a huge thing. Bernie had huge rallies, but no one really had the same as he did. He really did have these explosively positive momentum type rallies. No matter what, either side wants to say, the guy could pull out some numbers. So we'll see what happens with this. But it says that he is reluctant to declare an expansive emergency to combat the escalating CV outbreak, fearful of stoking panic with such a dramatic step, according to 3 people familiar with the situation. It says instead, the president is expected to sign within days a more limited designation to allow the federal government, this is where it gets creepy, to cover small businesses, loans, paychecks for hourly workers and delay tax bills. The White House said Wednesday. An emergency declaration would go significantly beyond that move, bringing in the Federal Emergency Management Agency and freeing up funding and resources for states struggling to contain the rapidly spreading virus. So they're saying that they would try to basically take and do some sort of stimulus package or something for us. Some of the states that are having the biggest issues, like New York, California, and ourselves. It says T-Man's concern at this point is that going further could hamper his narrative that the CV is similar to the seasonal flu. Said the 3 people familiar with the discussions. The administration is also negotiating with Congress over a stimulus package designed to cushion the CV-hampered economy. But that calculation could change in the coming weeks. The president isn't persuaded because, quote, an emergency declaration contradicts his message that this is the flu, said a Republican who speaks to him. T-Man is walking a fine line as cases in the U.S. sail past 1,000 as the president ramps up for a 2020 campaign. He is trying to simultaneously signal calm to the American people, comfort businesses whose customers have disappeared amid self-isolation directives, and ensure that there's enough money to combat the still new disease. It's weird. So, first off, do they call Dex? I'm going to pull you in here for a second. Do they call a flu a disease? I've heard disease. I've heard many different things said about this, right?
Well, yeah, I think
is a virus
they do.
a disease?
And
Is a virus a disease?
Generically, for something like this, it's more of a broader category.
So, I guess they're using disease in the most broadest way because, like, when you think of a disease, you think of something, I guess permanent. That's how I think about it. A curable disease or an uncurable one. Kelly2334, thank you. Mike1968. Carol Palmer 512, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for gifting subscribers. Ninja Nurse, Thank you for resubbing. I do appreciate that. Sutley, thank you. Nicolai, Kishara, Booma444, Reed55, great job, Marf, Dex J, Mods, and much love, and God bless. Damon Draco, my question is when, not if, martial law will start. Well, as far as that, I don't think they'll call it that. The Ugly Jew is here. If you haven't checked out his channel, you probably have seen him. I host him not too far apart. I like his channel. I actually think that he's got a really, really awesome channel there. Make sure to check out the Ugly Jew. We call him Tooge because we don't like to say that. World News, Nori W. Libu T Now, Rock for Life. Thank you. Ilea says, you're wheezing. Are you okay? You know, there's been a lot of weird stuff that's been going on here. And yeah, no, my breathing has not been okay since I was sick about 4 weeks ago. Kelly2334, thank you. I appreciate it. And Ollie Pop, thank you for being here. And Carol Palmer, thank you for being awesome. And thank you for gifting subs. Okay, so if you are not getting notifications, this is a big deal. For those of you who say, I didn't get a notification or I didn't get it until 2 days later. If you're missing notifications, just know we have our own system. This is, in fact, this is part of what the donations go for. We've built systems on our website. We update it daily. We maintain it. Dex does a great job of doing all of the website stuff. The website notifications are now available. Works with most all browsers and Android. iOS is coming soon. Look for the prompt and click the red bell in the bottom right-hand corner. Otherwise, it will be a little white box that shows up and it will say, Marfoogle News would like to send you notifications. Now, normally I even say I block them, but the only thing that that's for is for when we go live or when we post an alert. So make sure to press allow. All right. You can get that at marfooglenews.com, and it will let you know when we go live, no matter where it is. CV x-rays show terrifying damage in the lungs of CV victims. Now, this is what we were talking about. I don't know if you remember somebody we trust here, incredible source that we have, an incredible person, somebody who is very special to me, essentially told me about her best friend. And that best friend is a radiologist. And we can't say that much, but essentially it was like both of us were kind of hoping that this person would come forward. And basically, here's the thing. If this person came forward and said what she said, she could be blackballed from the hospital system. That's what actually happens. But essentially, she said that she has some knowledge about the lungs and the things that it does, and that it is different, and that they might have been spotting it before and even sending them... I can't say much else. I don't want to be misinfo. So again, I don't have guaranteed... I don't have proof of this. But I will read you this. This is from something, and I thought this was interesting because it kind of ties into what I've been saying. It says, these x-ray images show the damage that CV is doing to the lungs of people who catch the potentially deadly bug. Doctors have been able to identify specific abnormalities caused by the CV, and the patterns are similar to those found in patients from SARS and MERS outbreaks. It says the scans show patches in the lungs, and the experts' findings could lead to a quicker diagnosis to help to prevent infections. The first British person to catch the flu-like illness had previously told how it hit him, quote, like a train, and left him suffocating and in blinding pain for weeks. Now, one thing I think about is the fact that, they saw that the people were just... Breathing is one thing that you can't do for very long. I mean, if you can't breathe, it can just drop you. There's lots of things going on right now. So, Dex, I'm going to pull you in for a second. We are about to actually get over to our phones. Kelly2334, thank you guys. I appreciate you. We're going to get over to our phones. We have 2 lines out of 6 open, so make sure to get in right now. Let's see.
Uncensored, we rip it absurd. Uncensored, we rip it absurd.
I'm going to get the phone set up. We'll be right back.
Uncensored, we rip it absurd. 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 Uncensored, we rip it absurd.
All right, Dex, can you please quickly explain Nord while I set up the phones? And I appreciate each and every one of you for being here.
Absolutely, Adam. So NordVPN is a virtual private network. It's a tool you need in your quiver of tools to protect yourself online, especially from the bad guys. It goes on your computer, it goes on your phone. It's really simple. You turn it on, you turn it off, and it protects you in a way that allows you not to be infiltrated when you're surfing the web. The bad guys try to get into your computer, they try to get into your home network, and if you're using a VPN, you actually remove yourself from that location so they can't actually get into your home. It also encrypts your traffic, so if they're sniffing where you are, either on your home network or on a shared network, it protects that as well. It's very easy. It's so easy. My mom can use it. They have special prices just for the Foogle fam using code Marfoogle, or even easier, just go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. And when you do that, you'll be able to get their program, get the special prices for Marfoogle, and you can run it on up to 6 different devices at a time. So marfooglenews.com/VPN.
All right, thank you, Dex. And then again, a portion of that goes to help our channel and to keep things going. So thank you so much for doing that. Not only that, especially when we go over to decentralized platforms and things like this, make sure you're just careful on the internet, period. This is great, and this is an awesome system. But of course, anything can happen on the internet, and that is really what it's all about. Let's see here. We are going to pop open the callers now, and it looks like we've got a full list. Up first is Kate. Kate, you are live on Marfoogle TV.
Hi, Adam. How are you this evening?
Good. So let me pull up your card here. It says here that you are calling, and it says 2 cases of CV at Fort Pickett. What's going on with that?
Yeah. So I have a family member who, and before that even, so Farmville, Longwood, it's like a college. It's about an hour from me. They had their first case, college student, you know, people are on spring break. It's a small town. They go out and about. Anyone that I spoke to from that area, they're like, yeah, it's no big deal. They've got it under control. They're just telling us to wash our hands. I'm like, okay. So today I get a text message from one family member talking about the other family member who works at Fort Pickett. And when she went in today on her shift, they sat them all down, and a officer basically said, we have 2 cases right here of CV and business as usual. And the person did not say if the people were still there, or because Fort Pickett is like a training facility. So people from all over come in, they train, and then they ship them back out. So I live in a small town, and I've been ready I've been ready. Okay. And since December, like, my kids don't go to the store. I go shopping at nighttime when nobody's there. Like, it's whatever. I'm trying to be as careful, and it's just really close to home. So this is her last year in nursing school, and they basically gave her a script to tell people business as usual. Don't worry about a thing. If you're over 60, you might want to stay home, but just wash your hands. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, and like, I called her this afternoon, and it was like she was reading from a script. This is nothing to worry about. So when I asked her, I said, well, then why are they shutting countries down? Again, pulls out the script. Oh, because the flu was so bad this year, they don't want that to happen.
Exactly.
So what do you do with that information?
Well, we were just talking about the military. The military is they're taking these stringent practices not to get it, and then if you're saying that the military training facility has it, I mean, there's nothing online too. That's news.
Yeah, and I had called in February because they had done one of their drills where they would have paid people, and here we have one right in my backyard happening, you know. So it's scary. It's very close to home. Like, the kids are getting ready to start their softball and baseball season, and I really don't want them to leave the house. So I just want everyone to be safe. If you feel like wearing goggles and gloves and masks and whatever, then do it. Don't worry about what everyone's thinking or saying, or, you know, because who knows what this is.
Well, that's the thing.
But
as far as the panic that is associated with this, obviously now there are some states that still don't have it, and I get a lot of kickback, and I'm getting emails and saying you're just spreading fear. We're not trying to spread fear. We're in fact trying to spread the opposite. We're trying to say, you know, and if you do get locked down, you need to just be prepared, have board games, have stuff ready so you can be at home, right?
And like I said, we've been prepared, but going to, because it is a small town, going to my local Walmart and stuff, they've been out. There still is a little bit of like toilet paper and like a small flat of water, but you have to catch them when they're putting it out. But as far as like cleaning stuff, medical stuff, me and my daughter even went the other day to try to get aloe so we could make our own hand sanitizer. They were out of aloe, like in the beach section. Like, everybody is doing what they can right now. But I was going to say, like a month ago, I was trying to get a couple extra masks, and I went into a couple different places, and I was like, yeah, I'm just painting my house. I'm just trying to get some masks. And they're like, oh, no, we've been out of those for months. And I was like, huh. So I guess everyone's painting their house, you know, not trying to freak out or anything. Called a friend who owns a local hardware store, and she was trying to get them from other states. And she was like, I can get you a couple, but it's going to be a wait. And then 2 days later, they're like, we can't give these to you. Like, we can't, we're on lockdown, basically. We can't sell masks.
Okay, so do you, how long have you watched my show?
Huh?
How long have you watched my show?
I've been watching your show for probably 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
It's been a while. Like,
So Kate,
like since you in your car and everything, like.
Since I used to do videos in my car, that's the very beginning. That is the very beginning.
It's been a while. I'm a mom, so I try to get them like whenever I can.
So here, I don't know if you saw the episode, but we talked about the military intercepting night vision goggles and night vision gear from the wholesalers. So people actually ordered night vision goggles, the night vision tubes, and they actually intercepted them before they went to companies. For whatever reason, just a few months ago, Dex, if you can pull that up, I'd love to share that again. Just a few months ago, a couple months before this, they were doing all this stuff.
She said, she was like, I can't get these for you. They won't let me buy them. Like, she's a distributor. Like, she owns a hardware store. And she's like, yeah, I can make a couple calls. They would not sell them to her. Like, it was probably almost 2 months ago, now that I'm thinking about it.
They're using their government power to snatch things in transit and say, nope, this is ours. This is the U.S. government. What is that called, Dex? That's called, it's the power of, the word where they...
That would be eminent domain.
Eminent domain, and I actually spelled it wrong the first time. In fact, if you go back to that show, I talk about eminent domain or eminent domain and how they can snatch that and they can use their government powers. Right now, they're doing that with sanitizer, masks, and these kind of things, but not a lot of it is being publicized. Well, Kate, thank you so much for calling in, and thank you for watching since the beginning. That's seriously, like, impressive.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, Adam and Dex, for everything you do, for informing us and always speaking truth. So just God bless you guys and your families and the Marfoogle family.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a good night and be safe. Be prepared and Marfa. Okay. And you know, another thing, too, is for the people that don't give this show a chance or give me a chance, I guess, is why do you think people are here for 2 years watching every night, whatever? I've been live for 2 years. You know, it's like, obviously we're not doing that much wrong, right? In fact, I always correct if we're wrong. So, you know, I guess when I finally kicked it into high gear was it was about 2 years ago now. where I got the first comment that says, I only go to you for my news. And I realized it hit me that all of these people were actually looking to me to get their information. So we try really hard. There's a reason we rarely ever have to retract anything or go back on it, because we take the time before each one of these shows. Any one of these shows can take anywhere from 8 to 12 hours for Dex and I to put together. And then the mods put in hours and hours on top of that. 2 different shows. We do one show and then another, and then I'm there again after we finish everything, finish taping, then I'm there and chat again over on other platforms. So I really appreciate those of you who support. It does mean a big deal to us, and thank you guys for the ones that have stuck around. Molly Marie 21 is next. Molly Marie 21, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Adam, it's Molly Marie. How are you?
Good. Now, where are you from, Molly Marie?
I am from Massachusetts. And I would like to talk about a number of things. I'm a nurse and presently working in a hospital. And the first thing that I want to say is the numbers are not right. We've had an increase. Years past, we've had maybe 1 case of pneumonia per week, 2 cases per week. We've had 5 a day. And my alert was up since beginning of December. And I've been listening to your show for so long, I kind of knew what was happening. And we're not testing anybody. So everybody that has the coronavirus right now, all these numbers that are going up, it's only because we're testing them. It's not because they weren't there, and it's not because they weren't in the neighborhood.
Yeah, what you're saying, yeah. So what you're saying is that the only reason is they're doling them out. Are you saying that they can possibly control the number by how many they test?
Absolutely. Because it's bothered me all for months. It's bothered me since the beginning of December, to be honest with you. And I'm like, what's going on here? We've got so much pneumonia going on. What is going on? And then the coronavirus thing came out, and I know why. It's been a non-issue in the United States. It's because we haven't had a test. Nobody was tested, and that's why it's going up in your area. It's not because they're new cases. These people have been walking around forever and spreading the virus.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And if you can, just call it the CV, just because they want to, just like you say, they control, right? They want to control. They want the flow.
And we're not prepared. We are not prepared at all. They're asking nurses to reuse their masks, the N95 masks. They're sending away patients that MDs are
reuse.
They just.
Whoa.
I know we should test this one.
You're saying that they're asking you to reuse your mask?
Oh yeah.
That's dire.
Absolutely.
That's bad. That's even without this. Without this, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's like that's
so
contaminant.
The mask doesn't work anyways because you need an N100. This virus is smaller than the TB virus. And you need an P100 mask to be effective. So I'm just telling people to put a mask over their N95 mask. But we're not prepared. This country is not prepared. We have nothing that we need. And I'm really very, very, very concerned about healthcare workers. Like, we all have to make a decision whether or not we walk through those doors, because we might not walk back out of those doors. That was a couple of things.
Now, can I ask, have you personally seen any cases yourself as a nurse?
No, because we haven't been testing until last week. We got a couple, and then we sent them to the CDC, and they're not sending the results back to the hospital. We actually I last week tested a few patients out in the parking lot. And I said, don't send them in. They're healthy. They went to that conference in Boston, the Amgen conference in Boston. So everybody said, oh, well, we got to be tested. So I said, no, don't even let them in. You know, we're going to since I told them to mask up and gown up and, you know, go out to the parking lot. I sent the doctor and a nurse out, and they sent them off to the CDC, and we sent them home to self-isolate, self-quarantine, because why should we have them come into the hospital? It's wrong. I mean, we're not getting the information. The information is not accurate. It's much more, if this bug or virus is as dangerous as they say, the United States is in a much, much more dire situation than any one of those other countries, including Italy, because we have not tested anybody. You look at the thing that you just showed up, the graph. We've only tested 5. That's ridiculous. And then they're rationing the test. They don't want to. They want to send people home. So people are out in the public, and actually a hospital. I can't make up my mind whether I'm safer in the hospital or in the grocery store.
I'm just kind of blown away by some of the yeah.
Adam, I have a question for Molly Marie, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
So
Yeah.
So Molly Marie, thank you so much for sharing this information. Before the first case in Seattle, did you see before that time period a lot of pneumonia cases? And would you think it was
Absolutely.
more than normal?
Since the beginning, absolutely. And the cases are severe. And what's happening is these people are coming in testing negative for the flu, and they have this severe pneumonia. And you can see the white opacities on the X-rays. But there's it's a whole. It's almost like, to me.
Does it look like liquid?
The country is in denial. I brought the situations up to colleagues, told them to get ready. We're gonna be in a lockdown because this thing is bad. Oh yeah, you're paranoid. And it's like, no, I'm not paranoid. I just know things, and it's crazy.
Can I ask you a question?
There are things that can, yeah.
As somebody who deals with this stuff, and it sounds like you're kind of one of the, I would assume maybe you're kind of a head nurse or somebody who kind of is maybe a shot caller. I don't know. I get that vibe that you'd be the one telling three other nurses.
Something like that.
Okay, so
yeah, I can't really say. Yeah.
No, and that's fine. What do you think
offline,
about? What do you think?
Call me, whatever.
Okay,
yeah.
that would be great. What do you think about the whole thing about with kids? Why people think, oh, kids are not affected and young people aren't affected and all that? How would that even be?
Because the tissue in their lungs is much more pure. It's thicker. It's more pristine. Is my thinking. I'm an herbalist, and I do an awful lot with the herbs, and there are ways that you can prevent this.
Well, so I would love to talk to you offline. Can we save your info?
Yeah, save my info. And there's a couple of things, other things that before I get offline, because I've never called before. I've been listening to you since you started, and I love your show. And that's where I get most of my news from. But one of the things that I wanted to tell people is just to look up online, Google antiviral, right? Stephen Buhner, Stephen Buhner, Buhner, has a book, Herbal Antivirals, and there's stuff that can stop this right in its tracks. Elderberry, Japanese knotweed. There's all kinds of herbs that can stop this. And like for you, Adam, for your lungs, mullein, you should be drinking mullein tea because that coats your lungs. This is absolutely things that we can do. And the herbal community and the alternative health community is being attacked, and we're going to be shut down. He's awesome. He is awesome. I have all the herbs, make all the teas and everything. So there's things that people can do to prepare. They can just optimize their immune system.
Well, and I agree, and I actually do a lot of herbal things myself. And I think elderberry and different things different mixtures of things are great for you. Well, I really appreciate it. Is there one more thing that you wanted to cap up and kind of, in conclusion, say before we go?
Yeah, I just wanted to let the people of the United States know. I know they're talking about the bailouts and all that. Last time they bailed out the bank. But how about if this time they bail out the people? How about if all that money, instead of giving it to the bank, maybe pay their mortgages for a month so that everybody doesn't fall down? And the only people that are standing are the banks, because we still lose the money. We're paying for it. It's coming out of our pockets every week. And they're just, people have to think about what is going on. I mean, yeah, sure. We got so many billions of dollars, but you know what? Who's it going to? Citicorp and, Bank of America. Yeah, because they got their money. But you know what? We still have to pay that mortgage payment without a payroll check. What is that all about?
I can't see the chat, but I bet there's a lot of people saying right on. Molly Marie, thank you so much for calling in. I want to talk to you again. I would love for you to call in again.
Anytime you want to give me a call, I can chat about some of these things. I'm ready to spurt. I don't even care if I lose my job anymore, because there's so many people walking in and out of that hospital. We've all been probably exposed, but we're probably healthy, and it's not knocking us down, I mean, I remember like 4 weeks ago, I was like getting hot flashes, cold flashes, hot flashes, cold flashes. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I just upped my vitamin C, upped all my antivirals, and vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams twice a day, and vitamin D is going to help you tremendously.
My wife has been having that.
You can be taking.
My wife has been having the hot flashes and cold flashes. I've been having those where I got super just hot and cold. That's super weird. I know because I know my wife. She's probably like, well, I'm having those too. But we even thought maybe we had it back when we were sick 3 or 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. My daughter would not stop coughing for non-stop. And then we all got it. It was crazy. And it was the worst sickness I've ever had. I've talked to several people that were sick. Maybe we actually did have them. But in my lungs, like Leah said earlier, I've been wheezy like ever since. Yeah. And it's slowly going.
Mullen. Because Mullen will coat it. It'll coat your lungs. It's
no, Molly Marie, that is
oatmeal
great.
Has a mycologic thing to it.
Thank you so much for calling in. I need to call you. I need to talk to you because it is amazing that we have so many medical professionals inside the Foogle fam. I absolutely thank you for what you do. You're taking care of the men and women of our communities. So thank you so much. And you have a wonderful night, okay?
All right. Thanks, Mark.
All right. God bless you.
I love you guys.
All right. Love you too. Bye-bye.
You too.
That is so cool. All right. Yeah, like I said, I hope I got it already. But the bad part is you can get reinfected. That's what sucks about the whole thing. Let's see here. I missed a few. Kelly2334, thank you again. Amazing support from you. Thank you. Carol Palmer, again, with the 1 month subscription. I don't even know how many you've given out today, so thank you. Damon Draco, just want to say thanks again. Hit me up at Blue Knight. Let's see here. April Osborne, don't have to do that. No, you guys all. I thank you guys so much. April Osborne, my wonderful mod, thank you for gifting a sub. Let's see. We've got all sorts of people in here. Carrie Palmer, Mary Sharp, welcome, and thank you for being here again. You've been here almost every... some of you guys, I'm like, you're just here every day. I'm so flippin' blessed to have a Foogle fam like you guys. Real quick, Linda G, thank you last night. Appreciate that. Thanks for the great reporting. And then Ilea, another time supporting me last night, says highly recommend K-12 if you have the means to stay home with your children. It's a free online public school. They sent us a laptop, printer, books, and supplies to last an entire school year. Ilea, I actually might want to talk to you about that later. Jesse May, thank you. George, from Europe, thank you. You know who you are. Heavenbound 813. Venecchio V Potashio Vrox Pit. Thank you. Heavenbound 13. You have been here for a long time. I've seen your name for so long. I don't think you've ever called in. I'd love for some of these names that I've known for so long to call in and actually say hi. Okay, our next caller, we've got, let's see here. David. David, you are live on Marfoogle News.
How you doing?
Good. So let's...
Hello?
You're here. What's going on, David?
Yeah, I tried to call in several times. I used to serve in the military, and I held a top secret security clearance. And I've been watching for a while. I really like your show.
So you stated in your note to Dex here that you believe that America is suffering from cognitive dissonance, and we're not being proactive.
That's correct.
Can you tell me more of why you think that?
Sadly enough, we have a lot of people who still depend on our news. So it's almost like a coach, like a play-by-play. They're waiting for certain people to tell them what to do. And they're being more reactive for that reason, when I think in certain situations they need to be more proactive. But unfortunately, in our society in America, you keep everybody so busy. They watch a couple minutes of the news in the morning. They're busy. They go to work all day. They talk about it. They drive through their traffic. They come home. They watch that news at night. And they're basically brainwashed. And so you pick your Fox, this, that, or the other. It doesn't matter what news station. They're saying all the same words, passing the same message. And people are basically using that as a play-by-play thing.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that, do you believe that this is going to change the United States?
I believe it's going to change a lot of things in the future, as in cultures. I noticed in Italy, and I noticed I'm Italian. It wasn't brought up, but different cultures are different in the way that they are. Like Italians, they touch each other more, like they kiss each other on the cheeks. They're always, and then you get the other type of Asian countries, they bow and different things. So I don't know if in the past that's what may have brought that on, or it may change it in the future, but I can definitely see how that could see more people catching it amongst each other. If you walk up and your greeting is to kiss each other on the cheek, vice bow to each other, I can see how you could become more susceptible.
Well, I guess, and if you're bowing, then you're bowing into their breath or into their kind of cloud, right?
No, what I mean is the Italians are a lot more closer up. They're more touchy.
Yeah.
They're always got their hands. I'm Italian. What I mean is that they're more loving. They're more of a touchy thing. A lot of these other cultures, they're not as close up. They don't shake hands. They don't, just different cultures. They have different customs and things. What I really would want to talk about is this. Prior to a certain date that you call on your telephone, the day before that, a certain man said that we were missing a lot of money. I wonder, is this a huge distraction, sleight of hand, because there was a certain meal that people eat, and a guy just got 23 years today? That elite group have a very bad habit of doing things with our offsprings that they may be going down or try to take everybody down with them, or they're trying to shine a light on something different, that we really need to shine the light on something else. So on 9/10, everybody lost track of it because of the next day something happened. We need to focus on what happened prior to this. Did something happen that we are getting distracted?
Well, like the 482-day countdown, there was a memo that we talked about. It was a very weird situation where this memo was essentially going to high up elites, and it was saying, you 482 days, and it was kind of like the same vibe as when they said, we have 500 days until climate chaos. This was something that we broke the story on. At that end of the 482 days, it seemed like it was right around where some of this stuff went down. It was actually right around where that submarine, that Russian sub, actually had that accident. And then they started doing all of the Cobra meetings and all of this, and everybody was going in and talking to their Department of Defense. So I don't know what happened before, but that was right before. That was the kind of thing that I was looking at right before this really hit bad.
I do know one thing. There is an upper certain percent that really doesn't look at us the same way, and they look at us basically as sheep, and they think there's too many of us. They've actually put a certain thing up in a certain state. And I tell you what, if I was a really, really crazy sick person and I wanted to get rid of a lot of people, I would give me and my buddies a certain shot, let it do its thing for so long, and then just, come back a year later, and then what's done is what's done. If I was wanting to get the population down. It's interesting that there was a number 20 something and a certain family that had a drill that was just so close. The timing was just, the coincidence or just, I don't know, statistics. I took them. I could probably figure it out, but
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I pulled up the Georgia Guidestones, under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. That's something that there's people that we don't understand down at this level, that there are people that really feel like they are the gods of this earth. You know what I mean?
So why would you do that? I mean, why would you even put that there? Just questions. I mean, if you look at the old civilizations, the things that broke down, the only thing that ever lasts is stones, your pyramids, your whatever. That's all that ever lasts. So why would you even put that there? I mean, who would, and for what reason?
It's one of the creepiest landmarks ever. Nobody knows who did it, and somehow it's just still there. Nobody's touching it. I mean, think about the effort.
We're getting distracted. We're getting distracted with our sickness. And I've seen, and I love you guys, no disrespect. I've seen people make fun of people in preparedness, and I was in the military, and they're scared. They don't know what to do. So people need to spread the love, help each other out, and educate each other. Don't make fun of each other. Left, right, whatever. That's all BS. It doesn't matter no more.
Well, you understand.
You got a bug going around. Yeah.
You're military, so you understand that the military is all about contingency plans, about planning, preparing, drilling for it. So when the real thing happens, you are absolutely prepared for anything. And people don't understand that. And
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. So you have a lot of listeners. So your military people, your families, this is what they do. Any change, and you don't have to tell too much, just tell a little. Because top secret, I always hear this crap on here. I have top secret. Oh, I have super this, that, top secret. All that's crap. It's all compartmentalized. They let you know so much, this guy, and that guy. But you get enough people together, you can put enough pictures to a puzzle together, and you can make your people aware. And that's what people need to start doing. This thing needs to be a 24/7 thing where people are allowed to share things in their community. Hey, I just saw this. I don't know what this is. Can anybody say anything? And don't make fun of nobody. Don't dog on them. This is out of the ordinary. Just do it. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
No, that is awesome. David, thank you so much for calling in, and I'd love for you to call in again, okay?
Right. You can call me back, too. You got my number.
All right. Thank you so much, David. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
God bless all you guys.
Again, thank you. That was David. Yeah, that's actually, I love that call. I love people like him as far as like, you know, that's what it's true. People make fun of people that are logical. You know, it's kind of like making fun. Oh, you're studying, you know, oh, you're in the library. You're a geek, you know, who are the successful ones, later on down the road, those geeks that were studying in the library. Well, when, you know, stuff hits the fan, guess whose door they're going to be knocking on? Oh, I know you got supplies. I didn't think you told me, and I didn't listen. Every time. But you want to be a jackass before it happens. Don't come knocking on my door. We've got Kay. Kay, you are live, and you want to say 265 in quarantine in a warehouse in Fort Carson. What's going on with that?
Hi. Yes, they've been there for quite a while, and they have not been able to leave yet. Now, they called a state of emergency yesterday for Colorado. And they say 17 known cases, but they don't mention the 265 that are in Fort Carson. And if you know, Fort Carson is right at the foot of the Cheyenne Mountain, you know, where the underground, you know, big facilities the government's always, you know, talking about. On top of that, we've got a high school here already in Colorado Springs that's already telling the students that they might close to cleanse the schools, but yet it's not being, you know, said in the news or anything. My son is a paramedic, and his wife also in Florida. And in Jacksonville, right near him, all the kids are being forced to wear masks to school. Don't ask me why they're still being forced to go to school, though, so I don't understand that one. Now, in Colorado, we had the state of emergency called in yesterday by the governor. Now, a mid-level enlisted that's stationed in Fort Carson, that is, you know, related to me, was out for a whole week on a, you know, like a training thing, right? He comes in the day that the thing is declared, right, that the governor declares. That same day, they're sent out again overnight on another training. Now, I remember they were talking about the checkpoints being placed between Nevada and Utah. Well, come to find out, this person also, you know, let me know, there has been 3 checkpoints already in Colorado. I know one is in El Paso County, the other one is in Douglas County, and I don't remember the third one right now, but from what I understand, what I was told was like they're being monitored for their temperature and for any, you know, symptoms, and it's not because we're not going to be allowed in and out yet. It's more, so they say, quote unquote, for their own protection, because a lot of people are getting death threats, and people want to off, you know, the word was they want to off them because there's, you know, they are afraid of the being infected, but yet nowhere have they told us that they still have these 265 people in a warehouse in Fort Carson that came from another country. In other words, they were Americans, but they were brought in, I guess, from China or wherever, and they're still there.
And so, is this not public knowledge, or are you saying something that's not known, or you guys do know?
It's not something that's being said. No, it's not being said in the news. It's not being, like I said yesterday when the governor declared the state of emergency for Colorado, he only mentioned there are 17 known cases in the state. We never mentioned anything about the 265 in quarantine.
Huh? That is odd. Now.
Exactly.
Do you think that there's anybody that can confirm this?
Which part?
In the people in Fort.
The 265.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not being said publicly. I can try and see if I can get more verification. I mean, I had heard it from another party, also from the, you know, the government, but I heard it. The last one I was confirmed to me by this mid-level enlisted person that is in Fort Carson.
Adam, I have it confirmed. I'm giving you the link right now.
Wait, okay, so we do have a confirmation.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Okay, let me pull this up. That's awesome. That, you know, and if it's these kind of things, like they have to they can't be transparent, otherwise it will cause panic. And as far as like the stuff that's going on,
from what I see, I'm out every day, and I take public transportation. I see a lot of things. I'm ex-law enforcement myself. I'm from Florida originally, and I'm very observant of everything. And to be honest with you, if I see 2 people wearing masks a day, it's too much. So people are not here. I can still go to Walmart and I can still find rice and beans and all those things. No, I cannot get hand sanitizer or alcohol. But, I mean, I was able to get like 91% a couple of weeks back. But now there's only one Walmart that has it, and it's only 70%. But that's pretty much it. There's nothing else like no hand sanitizer or alcohol left. There's still some food and things like that. Toilet paper we still got, which I tell people, and I talk to people a lot, and I go to a lot of different places. I volunteer in certain places and stuff. I said, look, what are you worried about toilet paper? If you don't have food, you're not going to have anything to wipe, first of all, okay? You can't eat toilet paper. It's not a flu pandemic of a diarrhea or stomach virus. This is a lung issue. So what are people going? They're being guided in the wrong direction is how I feel. It's like we're not being told, and it's like education is very important because that's what avoids the chaos. That's what keeps people sane and say, hey, this is what you need to do. Let's do this organized in an organized. Don't wait till the last minute to tell people, and then they go crazy.
No, I completely agree. Kay, as far as the folks in there, this is the story all over the country. In fact, Dex, if you would hop in here, was it not true that they had 200? This is weeks ago, before we ever knew about, multiple cases. Weren't they isolating like 200 people in Georgia?
Yeah, they were, Adam. And what you're seeing here, this particular article updating what happened in Fort Carson, they selected it as a location to bring in people from out of the country that they were bringing back in, just like they did in Georgia, and just like they did in other states, including your own. So this is what's happening. And what I'm hearing in the description from Kay is they're actually trying to distinguish between infections that are out of the country versus those that are in the state. So if they bring in 265 people and they put them in the state, they don't want to count them. They just want to say we only have 17, right? And in reality, you've got 265 plus 17.
Wow, that's incredible. So, Kay, I'm going to bring you back in after that. So obviously, they're not adding these to the cases, but they're here.
No, and the fact, Adam, that they have 3 checkpoints close to each other in different counties, 3 different counties, but that are still close to each other, checkpoints where they're monitoring temperatures and symptoms, and it's supposedly for their own protection, not ours. Do you see the difference there?
Yeah.
They're not protecting the public, that it's protecting the ones who may have it.
Even your dog doesn't like the sound of that.
Pretty much. They're chihuahuas. They don't like anything.
I agree with you, and I think that this is
My
really our
wife
nightmare.
Are both paramedics in Florida. He works for a county, and he's fire rescue paramedic, and he teaches other paramedics. And they've already had 2 deaths in Tampa. Well, I'm from that area, and it's like they're really not doing much for people, but they're telling people in Jacksonville, all the kids mandatory have to wear masks to school. If that's the case, why are kids still being sent to school?
Okay, so I feel like my school district, as far as that goes, like it's like, what are you doing? Okay, you're basically, what is the point of all of this other stuff if our kids, the germ factories, are going to go in and pass it around? If it's real, then why the hell are you doing this? Close all the school districts and let's get this over with. Like, let's stop it until whatever they come up with, right? But of course they don't. I don't get it.
My grandson goes to school in Manitou Springs, which is right up on the summit, the foothills of the Pikes Peak here. And I went to the principal this morning, and because I take him to school every morning, and I said, I need to know what the protocol is for your situation with the VC and or CV, and he said, well, we're just monitoring. If we see of any case, then we will. I said, well, this is a tourist area. People come from all over the world here. I see them every day walking up and down the mountain, how are we going to be, secured? We're not testing. We don't even have testing. And then he kind of like confirmed what I said. Oh, yeah, well, the governor declared emergency, so we can get resources. I said, so you mean we can get more testing kits to start testing because we're not testing yet? Then what?
I'm literally at a loss for words, Kay. I think that we're all going to see this in the next 2 weeks. Everything's going to dramatically change. The people that say, "Oh, this is BS," it's gonna explode, and people are gonna be like, "What the heck?" Well, I appreciate you calling. Yep. Is there one more thing you would like to say before you go? In conclusion,
no, just that I've been listening to you since before Hot Musket, and all that kind of stuff, and I just wish you guys were on longer and more times because I'm faithfully always there, whether it's on this one or on YouTube. I go on both, and I just hit my button and everything. Just you guys stay alive with us.
I am literally
so I'm thankful for you guys. And
I just want to say I'm really, really appreciative of people like you. I know that you guys are the ones that are in both shows, and I'm blown away.
You're there for us. We're going to be there for you.
That seriously means a lot, Kay.
That's what it's all about. That's why we're Americans, and we stick together, and that's what we should be doing. We should be protecting each other, taking care of each other, and not so worried so much. I tell people, I said, look, I try to tell them all the time. I go to a lot of places, and I help people. I give people stuff. I give people food. But people don't. You can't take the horse and put him in the water and let him drink. It just doesn't work. People have to want to.
Yeah, no, I know.
But I try.
It's like, well, we were just talking about how it's hard to convince family that don't, or even friends, that don't think about it. My friend, my best friend, who is normally the person who's arguing with me, if I post a video, it will be, weird lightning or something. He's always the kind of the critic and always the skeptic. Even if it's something that,
right,
he might know is true. If I'm saying it, he's got to be a skeptic. On this one, it was his coworker who passed. So, and then his other coworkers who were quarantined, and it was his company that was, basically putting this stuff together and helping this family. And so this time he's the one sitting right next to me saying, this isn't a flu. Normally he would be like, well, let's look at this. No. And that's the thing. Nope. It's like now I can see he's preparing, he's prepping, he's doing all this stuff that I wish he would have done a year or 2 years ago. And now he sees it. He finally saw it. I talked to him the other day, and I was like, it just clicked in his head. He's like, it's okay to have extra prep. It's okay to have this kind of stuff because later on in the road, it will be, even if nothing happens right now, you'll have it for later. It's logical to have this kind of stuff.
Let me just give you, I'm sorry to interrupt. Give me one example. I'm 59 years old right now, but when I was 21 years old, I had just moved to New York City, newlywed, and I worked at Mount Sinai Hospital. This was in 1983. That's when the big thing with AIDS came out, and our hospital was full with people with it, and we didn't even know what it was or anything like that. And you had people dying in your hands, and people, taking your hands to hold your hands. You didn't have gloves on. You didn't have anything. You're a young 21-year-old, and you're just like, you're feeling for these people, but at the same time, you're thinking to myself, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? What am I going to get? Am I going to get infected? Am I, because any little cut in your hand and because saliva, all fluids were viable. We didn't know a whole lot to begin with. So this is kind of like the same thing. I'm getting like a flashback. It's like, I don't wear a mask. I'm not scared of the virus. I'm actually scared of our government and our people who are not prepared, and the government who is not telling us everything, just like they did with AIDS.
Oh, amen.
And this is how I feel about it.
So I can't remember which grade. I was very little. I had to raise my hand and go to the principal's office to use the bathroom. You know why? Because my father died of AIDS, and the parents in the parents group back then, this was back when they thought you could get it from drinking off the same water fountain. I was not allowed to use the water fountain. I had to raise my hand. I had to ask the teacher. I was the only kid. I had to walk all the way up to the principal's office. They let me use the principal's bathroom. Then they sanitized it, and then I left. That was, looking back, my aunt who was taking care of me, she could have sued their asses.
That they created on a child, okay? And at this point, this is something that's just, it's more viral than AIDS, and we're not doing anything about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see the difference with what they did with you and what they did, to us in those days, and now it's like they don't even want to acknowledge.
Well, and what's crazy is of course I didn't have it. It was, and my mom didn't have it. They hadn't. I mean, I was like 11 or something. They hadn't been together for 12 years, and he got it from, a partner. So it's like, they were so dumb about it. Like if you had somebody related, they freaked out about it. So I totally understand where you're coming from. I get what you're saying. And again, this whole new thing, who knows? Maybe we are being too paranoid. But the government is definitely, they're doing it.
We're humans, and we have to care for each other. That's part of it. That's humanity.
Well, thank you so much, Kay. I love you. Seriously. Thank you for being a part of this Google fam.
God bless you guys. And all the people, just be safe. Just keep your eyes open. That's all.
All right.
But keep your heart open, too.
All right. God bless you. All right.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Good night.
That is probably my favorite call in the whole month. We literally have the most amazing people in this community. I don't care if I got knocked off of every platform. As long as I had this community and my Discord, I'd be good. I really mean that. I'm blown away by the people we have in this group, and I think people on all platforms and even on DLive, they see how amazing our people are. They stay after, they go into other places, they actually participate. They just want to show positivity and love. It's amazing. Lovely Stotts, thank you guys. Thank you for all the people that I couldn't get. Rockin' America, I got your message. I totally understand. Accidental mod. I hope that Def puts you back on or something. Steve84G, thank you for being here. Carol Palmer is being a beast tonight. Just crazy. Gifted another subscription. Thank you so much, Carol Palmer. I don't mind. Honestly, you guys, thank you for supporting us. If it wasn't for you guys, this would have been really, really hard times switching off and doing all this crazy stuff. Helping where I can for the fam, Marf, because that's what Foogle fam does. Again, thank you guys just for everything. Carol Palmer, Mr. Craper even got one for Carol Palmer. I think Carol Palmer is going to, if there was like some sort of tree, she's like the top of the tree for subscriptions. G and J Marion. Nija's view on things. Thank you. Yabba Dabba 60. Sweet Rescue Nurse. I like that name. April Osborne. Boom. Got tons of folks in here. Amazing people. Barrett. Thank you for the diamond. Barrett. Kitty, Kit, or Katrina. Thank you. Time will tell. Thank you. Heapivore. Butterfly Babe. JF Chris JF. And let's see here. G-Lo, J-Lo, Leah Lou, 333, Debbie Jordan, Rockin' America, Enchanted Bayou, VMQ, Queen Fisher RN. We got everybody in here. Death Crusade, T-Man, soon to declare disaster declaration for us. Yep, that's coming at 9 Eastern in 10 minutes. So this is perfect timing. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. American Joe. Let's go with American Joe. You guys know American Joe. He is a political guy. He's also newer over here on YouTube. We're gonna do our quick shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people that matter most, you guys. There's obviously some amazing people that have supported tonight. Thank you guys. God bless you, and I appreciate it more than you guys know. Dex, you want to say peace?
Yeah, man. Great show. Great callers. And much love, everybody. And stay clean.
Absolutely. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
Uncensored, only rip it absurd. 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 I think it's a cow. 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 I think it's a cow.
Night's view on things. I appreciate you.
I think it's a cow. I think it's a
J Bird 42. Ozzy's Walkabout Enchanted by You. Kitty Cat or Katrina. Phoenix with the Brandon and the Kara. Hey Linda Way, see you by far. Oh, the best and the best Mafia.
I think it's a cow. I think it's a cow.
Mafia. Favor for a favor, Kim Possible, Amaria 0513, and Chris Nick. We're about to have us a Marfia Christmas. Bella Blue Sky, thank you for being and stopping by. CJ Blaze, it's all about the blue Bell Sky and the ways that we say hey to the Patty 1970 with the Linda Way. Brandon Phoenix and the rest of the crew, Amaria PMC 2020, thank you. I Kim with the Ninja and the Diamond. Summer Ellis, a Q Rose 75, a Summer Ellis and the Noria W by the side of Aussie's Walkabout, Rockin' America and what the Jarefra, with the Mama Henry, with the Steve 84G, Carol Palmer 1, with the Old Bay 777. Hey Shield and Sword, thanks for being here. Want some more? Then we go over to the G&J Marion, prepping my life. Prep my life. Prep my life. Prep my life. Prep my life.
Uncensored, only rip it absurd. 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 Uncensored, only rip it absurd.
A special shout out to Mrs. Patricia Rivas. Thank you for your generosity in the YouTube land where I have arranged myself coming from.
I think it's a cow. 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 I think it's a cow.
KY Irish, Amaria, Stanley and Nads, and we got the 1 out of 12, JRR Pale Horse, Smoky Mountain Gal, Dex J, and the Nebs 89, Mutant Fat Cat with the Nebs 89, Old Bay 777, Carissa Heaven, nobody not heaven, that's of course Heaven Bound 813, go with the 84, never be mean with the proud grammar, and the gender grammar, with the enchanted by you and do it then, like hey, 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 I'll read 55, we say, Bill 02, 375, Keishara, Kicking it by our side. Karen and Lowe, thank you for being here. April Osborne, thank you for gifting. Now, Reed 55 is kicking, hanging out with the rest of us, and now we getting in it. We're, of course, over here on D-Live.
Uncensored, only rip it absurd. Uncensored, only rip it absurd. Uncensored, only rip it absurd. Uncensored, only rip it absurd.
On D-Live.
Uncensored, only rip it absurd. Uncensored, only rip it absurd.
Reed 55.
Absurd. Uncensored, only rip it absurd.
Daniel 7777. Thanks for all you do.
Uncensored, only rip it absurd. Uncensored, only rip it absurd.
Carol Palmer 512. Time to dance. It's shoutro time.
Uncensored, only rip it absurd. 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 Uncensored, only rip it absurd.
Now to my normal folks, Joan of Arc. Thank you for being here. Page 007. We've got the Calipuna, Medical Angel or Medicinal Angels. Don't know which it was, but Najee. Puss in Boots 907, and thanks for mine. Hey Shamrock Girl, hanging out with Bro from OZ, and thanks for me. And now we go.
Uncensored, we rip it absurd. 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 D-Live.
For all my girls and boys out there. We be grinding with Rick Sapper, Stormer 7572, CJ Blazin', DDD, 6 Hour, and the rest of you. Dragon Girly, Obey 77 with Lisa Curry. Gonna bring it back now in no hurry, cause we about to be trapped for 2 weeks and we're never gonna leave. Green Ace 9 and Afflicted Patriot. We've got the die going down with the Margie 74 with the Gigi Zappy whoop, and to bring it back with the iProd, bringing it down. Now we got to go sing it now. Dex J and Jason 78, gotta do it and no hey, is going out from us. We can take it all day. Trinity, Red or Blue Pill, thanks for hanging out and being a mod. You have no need to donate to me, and thank you for being awesome. Gotta bring it like the Gigi Zappy, Captain Roy with a D. Mama Sherry 1969, gotta go and have a good time. Now Rock for Life and Carol Palmer, thanks for exchanging those. The J&G, Maria Horn, and the KG88. Not my childhood Sky, thanks for being such an awesome person. It made more sense to rhyme it with Guy, but then I realized that it wasn't. Steven Diaz, you the man. Now I'm gonna go through that list of the people that I love most. Over here on over here on Wiki, wiki, wiki world. Patisserie fest, oh no grievances. Patisserie vest, no grievance. Patisserie vest, no grievance. Patisserie, no grievance. Thank you for your support. No, seriously, everyone. I appreciate you. We've got the carrot mama in the hand. We've got the Minnesota man, 44, damn. Mama Sherry, oh, bring it down. We caring for the best of them. Kill it, 2, 3, 3, 4. J&G, or is that G&J? Or is it J&G? I don't know. What's up, you? I think we need some bass. That would make it a little bit better. Or maybe it wouldn't. Thank you, KLYNN, for following. Richard Austin, Mark Creamer, RBLA Lock 001, Healing Hearts, Darby Racing, and the rest of the crew, thank you. I appreciate you. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Luckiest followers tonight were CJ Blaze in the top spot. Top contributors, thank you for coming. It looks like Carol Palmer with 13,000 Lemons was number 1. Not by any means Mini 70, who is an amazing supporter, is number 2. CRYS 2797 is number 3. Thank you for your support. CJ Blaze is number 1 for luckiest followers. PH Breeze, J Stone 78, Lovely Stotts, and WW West. The more you chat, the more chances you have at getting off of the chest. We getting funky, gonna bring Trinidad red or blue bell. Got to go and see all them supporters. People over on YouTube, you the most amazing. You people on the D-Life, you the most amazing. Now everyone listen up, this is how my piece I'm Glover, says cool, calm, and collect, I'm lover. We got dancing one with the GPB, and you said thank you. Much love at Adam and Dex and the Foogle Martin crew. We got Linda G saying thanks for the great report and ma. Ali say I highly recommend that K-12. If that means you stay home with your children, it's free online public school. They send us a laptop, printer, books, and supplies. Oh yeah. Heaven bound 813. Oh, heaven bound 813. For beautiful baby Violet, give her kisses for me. We got the George from Europe, and we love him. And Jesse May and Owen Dex says many contributions. We got Patrice Rivas being on the top. Thank you for all you do. And thinking of keeping us going out, moving out, keeping us in the hole. Vanagio, Patricia, Re-Rocks, Pierre, I thank you for being here. I make sure to stop by and always say hi, and that's why you go. Jennifer Cox, love you, never, never, never gonna do. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being massively supportive of Dex, myself, the mods. I appreciate it. Fabo Senior says T-Man says no one's prepared like us, and that's why they will keep us down. That man is a shame. Nigel's view on things gotta go, and they be bringing something new. Stormy 7-5, damn, I do. They couldn't tell that I messed up now, and yes, that was a big fail. Jill Raven and the Art Kim Sinnen, all on brain with a little Allison. Welcome to the end of days, we are screwed, says Green Ace 9. I don't personally agree, I say we have at least a week. I meant 9 days, I didn't mean to scare anybody. Good and plenty, thank you for coming out and hanging with us. Yabba dabba sexy, I'm blind to 58, thank you for yours. I feel so naked without that Mafia badge. Says Q-Roll 75, it makes you stick out more. Because if everybody has a Mafia badge and nobody goes to see you. Space Monkey Florida, thank you for coming. Love ya. Love y'all.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to marfooglenews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share